I ain't never been drafted as shit besides the
Yeah.
military. So like, what was that like
I
for you?
mean, it's really projections. Like you just kind of throwing up in the air, like possible teams that they're just taking a liking to you. During the draft process, when you in the combine, you'll go meet with a certain amount of teams, and then basically they'll talk with you. They'll get like an analysis on you, or they'll do like they'll basically bring you into a meeting, and they'll just kind of talk with you, kind of see your intellectual ability as far as breaking down plays and seeing how to break down plays and how you do it if you were just in a room by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll just talk with the head coach. It might be a GM or somebody in there just talking with you, just kind of see who the person is up under the helmet. And then after that, you kind of go into your process of, doing your combine drills. And then after that, you kind of basically waiting to get chose. So at that time, it was a number of teams that could possibly just pick from you. And then, and just depending on the situation, depending on if you were going to be a day one guy or a 2 day guy, or day two guy, it just depends on, where you ranked in as far as, Mel Kiper's list or, those big name guys that, do those NFL analyst type stuff. They'll kind of just have your name up there and they'll basically kind of just rank you in those situations. So, but I would just remember for myself going into the draft, you really do, I was kind of nervous because you really don't know how I was going to pan out. I was a guy that never ran, I never did hardly any of the drills, only did on-field drills, and that was really about it. So I was kind of nervous on whether or not I was going to be a day one guy, a day two guy. And I just remember on the day of the draft, I'm sitting there waiting, I'm seeing, couple of teams that I'm thinking for sure that I might go to. You get down, you go from 1 all the way to 10, then you get around 15, and then at that point, I'm kind of like, all right, we kind of halfway through this thing. I ain't heard my name called.
Yeah.
So you're getting a little nervous. You get up to around like 20, 21, and then finally, the Tennessee Titans had traded up, and that's when they gave me that phone call, in which I never had a visit with, never really kind of just had any type of talk with. And then they basically called me, which was a surprise. And then after that, man, that's when I spent my 4 years there at Tennessee.
That's a blessing, bro. That's a blessing. Tell me this. All right, I'm going to ask, this is a two-part question. Is it a team you wanted to go to the most? And is it a team you was like, please don't let these niggas draft me?
I say the team that I really wanted to go to the most, it really was a number of teams. I'm gonna be honest with you. One was the Raiders, one was the Cowboys. I like the Dolphins. I like the who else? It was a number of teams. Oh, the Chargers at the time, because I feel like they was talking to me the most. But really kind of just those couple of teams at the time, those was kind of just off the top of my head of teams that kind of showed me interest, and then two just kind of favors when I was a little kid just growing up, the teams that I wanted to play for. But Tennessee was never in my head, or never knew that I was going to actually go to Tennessee. But once they traded up and made that call, after that shit, I was like, look, let's go.
Let's do it. Whoever got a bag at that point, fuck it.
Whoever got the bag, we going.
Hey, you talking about, man? That's a blessing, bro. That's a blessing. Tell me about your time at Tennessee, because I know I'm almost like, you know what I'm saying. I feel like I know sports, so I feel like kind of the reason you came to Atlanta, not only because you know what I'm saying, we needed a linebacker desperately. We still need a fucking linebacker. But also you already had a relationship with Arthur Smith. Did that carry over? Is that a reason why you came to the Falcons? Like, tell me about Arthur Smith.
Yeah, so when I did the 4 years at Tennessee, which we won a lot of games. I mean, my second year we went to the AFC Championship, played Mahomes. We lost in that game. We was one game away from going to the Super Bowl. So that one hurt the most. And then after that, we were able to kind of bounce back and get another kind of, winning season, went into the playoffs and lost to, the Ravens after that. And then the next year after that, around 2021, we went into playing against the Bengals, against Joe Burrow, and they beat us. So after that, that's basically when I had left Tennessee and went to Atlanta. And by me having relations with Arthur and knowing him at the time, I think he was the either the offensive coordinator or the tight ends coach, one of the two. I couldn't really remember, but I knew him and I saw him. We would see each other in the hallway. We would talk. So I always knew he was a cool dude, real kind of, players coach type of guy. So, and then there was another guy too, specifically my defensive coordinator at the time named Dean Pease. He left just recently. that was like my Ace Boone Coon. That was my guy.
Yeah.
He one of the guys that coached Ray Lewis. He coached a lot of great linebackers at the time. So the man knew everything about football, everything about X's and O's when it came to football. So those are really kind of the two things that made me come to Atlanta. And not only that, family is not too far from here. So
sure.
It was just all in one, just a great situation for me to be kind of in a situation where it felt like he was at home. And when I came to Atlanta, I had the mindset of just, taking it all in. I wanted to have fun. I wanted to also, too, at the same time, kind of put myself in another position as far as my career, put myself out there and kind of trying to consider myself one of the top linebackers, too. So, even with Tennessee situation from the 4 years, it started out great, but the last 2 years kind of didn't end like I wanted it to. A lot of the situations where, whether it was coaching and the GMs and, having a situation where as far as, you have a mindset and a way that you want to do things. And then, you got coaches and GMs, they want to do things a different way. And, it's happening across the board around the NFL. You got situations with your guy with the coach and situation with him in the GM. So it's just a lot of things that go into, this NFL thing where it's just not just football. Sometimes it could be some personal stuff that goes on too. But, I think the biggest thing for my situation was I was able to kind of move on from it, not take it personal, keep it business. And then I also understand, man, you definitely don't want to try to burn bridges. You definitely want to try to keep your name as clean as possible. But a lot of times that cannot be avoidable. When you're dealing with a lot of these guys or these GMs, man, they got a lot of power, a lot of money, a lot of just motion or whatever. So, but just in all, from the 4 years of me being in Tennessee, man, it just kind of helped me be in a more realistic mindset about not only just playing football, but also the outside stuff that come with it. Having yourself and establish yourself outside of football where, if anything were to go wrong, season-ending injury or career-ending injury, or, you get to the point where you just feel like you just lose the love of the game, you kind of have something to fall back on when it's all over. But, like I said, just kind of, take it all in with Atlanta. Atlanta showed me so much love, man. I played, for me to play all 17 games and be injury-free and then be able to just experience the Atlanta, fans and the culture there, man, it was amazing. So just being able to come to Atlanta was probably one of my best experiences since I've been in the league.
That's love. And one of the craziest things that I just heard you say, a lot of the players I talked to, you know what I'm saying, we weren't bad on defense last year. And I feel like a lot of that was because Arthur Smith and Dean Pease, like, I'm not trying to shit on nobody because I love my team, but we was limited last year on the Falcons. We worked with what we had.
Yeah.
So at some point I was like, Dean, you might as well just get out there and play DB because we at this point, my nigga, like, and so for us to get 7 wins out of that squad is amazing. Yeah. Before I get to Atlanta though, I gotta ask why you beat that nigga up on TV like that? And go to tell me, bro. I'm watching the game. This shit is on the NFL Network.
It gets to the, it's one of those things, bro. You try to be as professional as possible, man, when it comes to this football thing, man. You try to be professional on the field, off the field, on camera, off camera. And then you get to the point where it's just like it's a man-to-man thing, bro. Yeah. It was one of those situations where I was like, man, fuck all the other shit. I'm like, at this point, you want to go past the whistle. At that point, you've now entered into the zone of like, all right, now I got to handle you too.
Yeah.
And even after that situation, I got fined. I got fined like $10,000, something crazy, But, that's just what comes with the league, man. You understand when you go into the league and when you go into a game, bro, it's a possibility that you get in those type of situation. I mean, you've seen multiple situations where Myles Garrett, hitting the quarterback upside the hip. You get so many different things, man, like when it come to that. But for me personally, I felt like even in that situation, it was necessary. Even after that, even from losing the 10K and the money and all that stuff, it made me feel like at the point where I had to kind of protect myself in that situation. So, but overall, man, if I could just tell somebody else or a young guy that's coming into the league, you want to try your best to avoid it. But sometimes, man, you got to be a man of your own self, you represent yourself, you're your own business. At the same time, you got to be able to deal with the things that come with it. Yeah. And if you feel like you need to take those type of measures, why not?
No, definitely. I feel because I like I said, I'm a huge football fan. And every fight I seen on the field, the guy who won always had a justified. Like my favorite one is when Andre Johnson beat up
Yeah,
was that Kenny Britt? Was that Kenny Britt?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it
No,
was him.
Courtney
Yeah,
Finnegan.
from
Courtney
the
Finnegan.
Times, right?
Yeah, Courtney Finnegan. Like, what Finnegan is that? And after Andre was like, yeah, it was
Yeah,
worth it. It was all
yeah.
worth it. Yeah, I said so. I feel that. I just wanted to know what the nigga said because you was out, you was out there fighting like y'all didn't have
It
no
wasn't even.
pads and shit.
It was one of those things, man. You know how I'm pretty sure the dudes that have played little league, that extra just, after that whistle,
Yeah,
and he just kept doing it. And then at the same time, it was kind of like one of them things. It was kind of personal, like he was trying to do me in. So at that point, I was like, look, man, you in the zone, and now I got to protect myself at that
yeah,
point. So I'm gonna just go up in your chin, and then after that, we'll just handle it like we handle it.
yeah.
And
Was
then
it?
after that, once I paid that fine, I had kind of just brushed it off. I was like, I'm gonna move forward. After that, I never had another incident. So, but even then, from looking back then, I still don't regret it. I'm like, sure, it is what it is, man.
Of
That's
course
the
not.
thing that come with this game, man. It's
Yeah,
unfortunate that you get fined for punching a guy that got a helmet, but
that's
they
wild.
make those rules. They make those type of rules which you got to obey by. So that's just the nature of the game.
Yeah, I don't even think it would have been. I don't know if you. You can tell me this. I don't know if you get fined if that game wasn't on Monday Night Football. If the whole country wasn't watching that game, I don't know if you still get fined.
You're not getting fined.
Yeah,
If we were just out there in the parking lot right now, it would have been just one of those situations where the guy done, would have shook hands, we went on about our business.
yeah.
But by it being on a public, platform, people it just makes everything more dramatic to the point where they feel like they have to do it in order to feel like, they got control of this thing. So I understand the concept.
Yeah, no. Hey, clap it up for that because we setting a precedent on this show. We only gonna have real niggas on this show. I'm not taking Rashaan, you done already set the precedent, so I can't have no niggas on my show that lost they fight. You know what I'm saying? So we want to know so far. we want to know, nigga. We only want real niggas on my show. Hell yeah, man. So fast forward, you're in Atlanta, first year.
Yeah.
The last year. First game.
Mm-hmm.
First game. Y'all, I got season tickets. So let me say this. I got season tickets. I sit up top. So I see the game a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Like I sit in the sky. I like to call it the skybox, but it's really 300 section.
Yeah.
I see the whole fucking game. Where the fuck do you think we went wrong in that Saints game? Because I felt like that game was going to set the tone. I felt like, this is my personal opinion, if we had won the Saints game, we'd have went to the playoffs. That's me. That first game.
Yeah. I'm gonna be. Yeah, I think at that point, for us, our kryptonite was always finishes, bro. We would always start out fast. We would get up. We'd be too excited and to the point where I feel like we just didn't finish. And whenever you playing in the NFL, bro, you got guys that's just is getting paid to do the exact same thing you're doing.
Yeah.
You got to understand, you got guys that's over there just as talented. You got some Hall of Famers over there. You got guys that got kids. You got these jokers out here playing, man. And the game and we all know when it comes to football, the game don't stop until that clock strikes zero.
Yeah.
And I just feel like at that point, we were so high and mighty in that game. It was a rival game. Jokers had prepped that game all the way up to that day, with the Saints and the Falcons. They had all over the Jumbotron, the history of it and stuff. So the energy in that state, I will say, out of all the games was the craziest. I had never had no type of energy like that or played no type of energy like that in a long time, bro. And I'm talking about since Bama, like type stuff. So, to have that type of energy, then at the same time, they had a type of, celebrities that was there and all of that incorporated. It just made that game just more crazy. But that was one of the things that I feel like last year, not only just that game, but all season, bro, was just us finishing. And we had a situation where we could have won that game, but it was just one of those things where, once you put yourself in that situation where now you gotta, play to the last play. At that point, it's no longer about X's and O's. It's about who wanted more.
Yeah.
And at that time, the Saints wanted it more than us. And that's just what it is. So, I think after that, it kind of put a dent in us because, when you lose a game like that and you got people that got history on that game, you don't want to let the fans down. You don't want to let the, people that's played in the Atlanta Falcons uniform and played in the Saints uniforms. You don't want to let those type of guys down, the OGs that played in the game. You don't want to let them down. Walking off that field at the loss and you seeing their faces, you know, you got Joker throwing their hat down, you know, lost bench, you know, it's just a lot of stuff that go into that game.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, just overall, man, we're just finishing, bro.
Oh yeah, no, bro, you ain't gotta tell me, cause nigga, I hate Saints fans, nigga. I don't hold the dough for them, none of that shit. Like, like I don't go to their funerals. Like, I don't stop in traffic for like nothing. So
if you never played for Atlanta, you felt the tension. Yeah, you definitely. If you never played for Atlanta, you definitely felt the tension between the two organizations. Like, I'm talking about even from just when you walk into the stadium, you could just feel the tension. Jokers was ready to get after it. It wasn't just football players. It was your mama, your sister, your grandma, all of them.
No, you don't understand, bro. Because nigga, we talked about that game all off season. Like we talked about, like that was the oh y'all put Saints on the game. Y'all want to see what we is up front. Well, let's go and get it fucking popping then. And not only that,
they're going to get it popping just to start the season off.
Nigga, and then we up the first 3 quarters. We up the first 3.5 quarters.
We come on, we up. We lit.
I'm there with you, nigga. I'm there with you.
Look, hey, it's crazy too, because you know, during the game, man, we walking off the sideline, everybody cheering. You got Tig up there playing the music. You got Gucci, baby, all of them. They saluting you. You know, we thinking, all right, man, we finna take over the city. To take over.
Come on.
Then all of a sudden, you know, your boy James, he for some reason this joker started talking crazy with his guys, getting them hyped up. Michael Thomas over there when it all of a sudden become all pro. You know, at the last minute. And then after that, shoot, that was history. And then, so, you know, you walk off the field after that, man, it just put a dent in you.
Nigga, it put a dent in the city, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Cause like, that's passion to us. Like that, we could lose every fucking game, nigga, in the season. We better not lose to them Saints. Like, that's where we was. So for that one, that was a down. And then for some fucking reason, Mike Thomas, the only fucking game he wanted to play that year, he wanted to come out and have 7,000 yards.
Out of all the games.
Like, what the fuck is he?
Out of all the games, bro.
Out of all the games, this nigga now he's slamming the ball, throwing the ball in the crowd and shit.
Like, he just took a hiatus and he came back.
You know, we call that nigga Slant Thomas.
Stick the dag in him.
We call that nigga Slant Thomas in Atlanta. Like, but you only got
man,
one route.
I can't believe it.
Like, so that was crazy, bro. That was so crazy. Like, just like y'all had I felt, but I was proud of y'all that game though. I didn't count it as there was, you know what I'm saying, there ain't no real moral victories in sports. But I was like, I can see the direction we going in. Like, we got some dogs on this team. Like, you know what I'm saying? Is it any guys that you took under your wing? Because when you come to Atlanta, you're a vet at this point. Was it any guys you took under your wing when you got there, like Troy Anderson, maybe Ebiketie?
Yeah, guys like Troy Anderson. You got guys like Michael Walker. You got guys like Hulk. You got guys like
I love Jalen Hawkins,
man.
By the way.
It's a lot of them, man. You got Drake. You got Ritter. You got all those guys, man. They young. You know, they green when they coming into the league. They just playing it. They just now getting into this atmosphere where it's no longer just about, you know, bragging rights. It's about money now. It's about, you know, it's your job. You know, so. You know, and things have become a lot more serious now. So, you know, putting those guys and putting those guys up under your wing and kind of just, you know, those speeches right before the game or those talks during practice or the team meetings that you have during the week, getting prepped for the game at the end of the week. You know, those are the times where you kind of, you know, display the message. You know, you kind of let them know, look, this is what we got going on. This is how we're approaching the game. This is how, you know, this is what, you know, as far as the brotherhood, as far as, you know, making mistakes and all that, bro, we got your back. You know, you try to make it as comfortable as possible for guys that are coming into the league because, you know, they got a lot of pressure on them, you know, a lot of expectation, you know, and a lot of sometimes that they're more susceptible to injury. They're more susceptible to, you know, losing their confidence when, you know, they make a bad play. So, you know, you kind of just want to reassure them that, you know, you done had your own situations, your own mistakes, and look at where you at now. So, regardless of what you're doing now, mistakes that you make now, the things that don't go right, man, you're going to have another opportunity to make it right and just understand that the next play is going to happen. You can't dwell on the past. So that really be my message to a lot of the guys that whenever I come in there or in any team or whatever situation, I always let them know, man, you got to play that next play. Have a quick memory in the league. You know, you keep dwelling on past stuff. You know, that's how you continue to make the same mistakes. So that's really the message I be saying to a lot of young guys.
Man, okay, I understand, and I hear that message. I receive that message, but how hard is it to keep that same message going? Because you're a vet, so you've seen the ups and downs of the league and shit like that. You know, you may have some losing seasons, but like you said, we had a lot of rookies come in last year. So how hard is it to keep them focused when we had? Because the Saints wasn't the only close game we lost. Like nigga, we was supposed to win the Rams game.
Yeah.
We was supposed to win the Chargers game. We got cheated out the Bucks game in Tampa on the Grady Jarrett when they called the pass. I mean, roughing the passer. Like
on that sack, on the
come
sack.
on. So how do you keep players motivated when it's shit like that going on? When we all our games coming down to the last second because we had several. We could have lost to the Panthers twice.
That type of situation, bro. That's. You know, I would say it's rare and it's not rare, but then at the same time it's rare, you know, because you got to think, you know, whenever you put yourself in those positions, everybody's expecting you, once you had that one situation, they're expecting you to correct it at that point. And when it continues to happen, it's kind of like, all right, who do we blame now? Do we blame the coaches? Do we blame the players? Do we blame the vets? Do we blame the young guys? It's kind of like one of those things that what you don't want to do, when what I felt like we started out with and we kind of got better at was not pointing the finger, because really it's a collective thing.
Yeah.
And for us in that situation, you know, we kept seeing each other after those games in that locker room, looking at each other like how we let this happen again. You know, we get into this ourselves in these situations where we put ourselves in position to win games, but we just not finishing. And at that point, you really got to kind of like, look, you got to just say, fuck everything else, fuck the media, fuck the fans. You got to just kind of just keep everything close-knit, because, you know, regardless of you not winning those games, we still got to put ourselves in position to try to win those games, or at least have an opportunity to win those games.
Yeah.
And basically what our message was, when we was going into those games and we was getting close and we wasn't winning, we were like, look, bro, we're just going to keep chopping. And like at this point, you know, these games is going to be what it's going to be. Obviously, you know, we dealing with something where, you know, we put ourselves in position, but we're not finishing. But, you know, you got to just keep playing. That's the thing about the NFL. You know, you're going to have a situation where you're going to have a series of games where you're going to be winning. Everything going to be lit. Everybody happy. The whole city happy. And then you might go through a phase where you losing a couple of games. Not everybody want to start cutting jokes. You know, it's one of those type of feelings.
Yeah.
So you kind of still put those young guys in perspective, like, look, bro, you know, this is the name of the game. This is what you're going to have to get used to for the rest of your career. But also understand that this game never changes. The distance between from the 100-yard line over there to the other 100-yard line is the same yardage as you played in Little League, bro. Everything is still the same. The only thing is just the stage is bigger and there's more fans and there's more money incorporated. And once you understand that concept, bro, you're going to always be good. You know, it was just one of those situations where, for me, it was rare. I'm used to winning. When my whole career, if you look at my record, I'm used to winning. I've won my whole career. So coming to a team that was in a situation where we had ourselves in position to win, but we didn't win as much like I'm used to, it was a lot different for me. But, you know, I just come from a caliber of player where, you know, I really can't really worry about the wins. I'm like, you know, at this point, we got to put the best film that we could possibly put out there. And then after that, man, we got to be able to live with what come with it, you know, because, you know, like I said, you just can't live in the past, bro. You got to be able to move on to the next game, and hopefully that the next game be, you know, that breakthrough.
I feel that. It's just when you come to Atlanta, bro, and you know what I'm saying, like you always come from a winning situation, but you got to understand where we're coming from in Atlanta. We already feel like we fucking cursed. We've been cursed since 2023. So, you know what I'm saying? So, when we lose, like, just say for the Saints game, for instance, a game we up 2 touchdowns, nigga. So, once Jameis score 1 and they down 1 touchdown, you know, we in the crowd like, oh, boy, it's the same old Falcons, boy.
Same old.
And then we do it again next week against the Rams. You know what I'm saying? We down 28-3. We try to break the curse. And, oh, boy, same old fucking bird. Bird's gonna bird. That's what Bird's gonna bird.
That's what we was hearing.
That's what we saying. And go ahead.
And then in that situation, that's why I was kind of like, you know, at first it was kind of when we were first going into the season, man, they had made a projection we was gonna go 3-13.
Nigga,
We was
I'm
basically
betting niggas. I'm betting niggas like, boy, bet we win more than 3 games, nigga. Bet. Like, I really got $100 bets with
3-13.
family members.
That was unheard of. I've never heard a record like that. I'm like, that's some shit you was thinking of, 3A, 4A high school team and going against a 6A, 7A powerhouse high school team.
Bro, they
That's
tried the shit out of us.
or like a D3 college going against Bama or something like that. That's some stuff you project not in the league. So when they said that, it was real disrespectful. We had very, very much took it as like something personal. Mm-hmm. And what made it just worse was the fact that we were putting ourselves in these positions to win, but we didn't finish. We weren't going through and, winning the games that we wanted. So now in the back of our head, that record is just kind of just floating.
That 3.
So, but as we were able to win some of those other games, we kind of saw ourselves like, all right, we getting over that hump. We getting past these 3 games. We get past, okay, we got 5, 6, 7. Now at the end, towards the end of the season, we get to like 7, 8 wins. But for me, I'm like, look, there could have been so many other situations where we could have put ourselves in a position to go to the playoffs. For sure, the way that the way the record was, I know it wasn't as pretty as it was, but the way the season was, man, the other teams weren't doing as good as well. So, I think that was just an opportunity that we missed, bro, just to be able to kind of position ourselves to be able to go to the playoffs, because a lot of those other teams, man, they was hurting too. And I just think we should have just capitalized off that situation.
Bro, I appreciate the honesty because, nigga, in my eyes, we definitely was supposed to be in the playoffs. The division was wide open.
We were supposed to be in the playoffs.
The division
for sure.
was wide open, bro. The division was wide open.
Like, come on, it's like,
and the Bucks was trying to give it to us. They was like, here, take it, and we was like, no, we don't want it. We was like, we don't want it. Y'all take it. And so we had, because it was a couple games. Okay, I'm gonna just throw these games out there and see where you feel about these games. One game I won't talk about is the Bengals game. We just ain't had no fucking chance that game. Okay, leave that game out the window.
Yeah, that was one of those games where you just get your ass kicked. You got to go back to the drawing board and start back to the basics. You know that talk.
yeah. Just what they say. We gonna throw that film away. We ain't gonna even worry about that.
Yeah, we're gonna forget about that. Like, that would come with the game.
Yeah, but okay, specifically, it's 2 games I got in, really 3. The Chargers game where where Taquan gets the fumble and it dropped.
Yeah.
Does anybody say anything to this nigga in the locker room? Anybody was
we
like,
was
get
sick,
your big
man.
ass
We was
down.
sick. We was sick. Everybody was look, that's my boy. That's my dog.
Yeah.
And it's one of those situations where you looking at your dog, you like, that's my dog. But hey, bro, you know you should have held on to that ball.
I DM'd that nigga. I DM'd him like, boy, get your big ass down.
Right, look, we was all looking like, wait a minute, hold on. We got the ball. Wait a minute, we running with the ball. We gonna get the ball, win at the last minute. Then all of a sudden we see the ball run on the ground. We like, oh my God, like. And it got to be a curse. It got to be something going on. So
it fit our narrative.
But you gotta. Yeah, it felt like that at that point. I knew right then at that point, at that moment, I was like, man, it's some more than just this football thing. It got to be something else.
I'm gonna tell you what it is.
I ain't never seen nothing like that.
I don't know if you know the history of the Mercedes Benz. We tore down 2 churches to build the Mercedes Benz. So it's really them spirits, them churches. They want they church back. That's all it really is. So until we do right by them,
going on.
Yeah, until we build them a new church, we may not have a winning season. I don't know. That's the curse. That's how we feeling right now. But on a serious note, tell me about the because this was a game I feel like y'all played great fucking defense. The Commanders game, and then we got y'all held them niggas to 19. Like, what the fuck are we doing? They were on the 3-yard line. Like, talk to me. What are you thinking? Because in my head, I'm thinking this is looking like Seattle versus the Patriots in the fucking Super Bowl. We on the 1-yard line. Why are we CP is doing everything. Bro. Why are we not running it right here? Like, what is going through at this point? Because now we midway in the season going through this shit.
Yeah, it's one of those things, bro. It's like, put yourself in position to win. Mm-hmm. There's only 2 things that can happen. You either gonna win or you gonna lose. And at that moment, it's about who wants it more. And then 2, a lot of that plays in also the personnel, also that plays in also the coaching, what you choose, the play calling, what you choose as far as how you make that play happen. Also with the player making the play, all of that's incorporated with making that moment, to the point where making that moment where you take advantage of that moment. And it was a lot of moments that was like that. But, that was one of those other games kind of took that out of us. It's kind of like we could have prevented that situation. All we had to do was just hand the ball off to a guy that we know for sure. We done seen time and time again run over linebackers that we knew for sure was going to run that ball in there and win that game for us. So, you like I said, you want to be a professional. You try not to point fingers. You try not, to be that guy that's like, we should have, you know what I'm saying? You try not to be that dude, but you get to a certain point, man, you kind of like, look, you gotta start pinpointing what it is that's going on. And if that's the problem, you got to either get rid of it, change it, flip it, or make improvements in it. That way you don't constantly find yourself in that situation. Yeah. And that was one of the situations where we were kind of like, look, we might have to make a move. We got to do something different. I'm like, because there's no way we lose that game and we right there in the red zone, and, having the ability to go in there and win that game. And we right there, all we got to do is either just hand the ball off or literally just throw it to a guy, throw whatever we got to do in order to win that game. So, it's just, like I said, man, you got to. We had that situation where we just needed to be more aggressive about making changes, and I think we didn't do that fast enough.
Now I will say Arthur Smith's hands were tied a lot. He had a lot of faith, and first of all, I want to say this. You said earlier you was like you try not to point fingers and shit like that, and I respect that. You know what I'm saying? That's a man. You know what I'm saying? That's sticking up for your teammates. I'm gonna say in the city, nigga, we always pointing that finger at fucking Mariota. So, that may be your boy or whatever. But there was a lot of games where my boy was putting that ball on the ground. I was like, is this nigga getting paid by the other? Like, what's his deal? Because he was a fumble machine. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, he was fumbling everywhere. I seen that nigga in Walmart. I said, Mariota, he fumbled his bread out his hand. I was like, this nigga can't hold shit. This nigga can't hold shit, man. This nigga man. There's so many games. Like, I mean, the Steelers, y'all damn near played a perfect defensive game.
Man.
Fucking now we got cheated, like we say, we got cheated at the Bucks game. But bro, a lot of games, bro, the defense, bro, y'all did what y'all could. And a lot of the problems I thought was, nigga, y'all was on the field a lot. Like, y'all was on the field a lot. Nigga, y'all niggas was tired by the fourth because, nigga, y'all done been on the field. These niggas got 30 minutes of time of possession with the ball. Like, how the fuck do you want me to keep chasing these niggas around so niggas will get mad at the defense? I'm like, nigga, we got to put up some points to help these niggas. Because, bro, it's no way. Like, nigga, and first of all, congratulations. You led us in tackles. But I don't know if you knew that or whatever. You led us in tackles last year. So, nigga, I still... Tell me, matter of fact, let me fast forward to that. What is that like when you lead a team in tackles? Because I feel like you was like top 3 best players on our defense last year. It's you, AJ, and Grady. Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all was our anchors last year. So what's that like? Did you want to come back to the Falcons, or was it like money, or like what was the deal with that? Because I know, you know what I'm saying, Arthur Smith's still there. I know Dean Pease that left, and I know we got a new coordinator. Did that have something to play into it as well, or what was the situation?
No, my even still today, my position still stands, man. I definitely would love to come back to Atlanta. I just know the situation because I've been in free agency before. I was in free agency right before I came to Atlanta. I just know when you're dealing with free agency, bro, there's a lot of things that's incorporated. You got situations where a team wants to kind of see who they got and how they pan out. You got also other situations when it comes to financials where do they want to restructure? Do they want to give you this type of bread? Do they want to do this? What is the history of giving this type of bread? How have these guys panned out? And also goes into the fact of just the person of who do they want this guy to be the face of their franchise as far as the defense and all those different things. So I understand the process. I remember when I first got into free agency, right before I came to Atlanta, I didn't really know too much about it because I had been 4 years in Tennessee. But when I first went into free agency, I didn't know nothing but what I knew now. If anything, I took everything personal to the point where I'm like, look, how they not